Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I am Zombie Cartman, and this is a tips video for how to run your Guardian farm in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So recently I made a video on how to make the fastest Guardian farm in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, but it seems a lot of people are having trouble actually getting that Guardian farm to work. And I've also figured out that a lot of players don't have the Elytra in their survival worlds, so they're not able to just simply fly from the ground to their observation post at the Guardian farm, which was a complete oversight on my part. So we decided we would go ahead and show you guys how we used to travel in survival before we had Elytras, and this is still the method we use for travel in the Nether, because it is still the fastest way to travel through the Nether. But basically you just build ice roads, and then you get in a boat and you travel down the ice road in a boat. You won't use any hunger this way, and you'll actually travel very fast from one place to another. And if you didn't know, they've actually recently made ice a lot easier to break. Here I am harvesting some blue ice, which used to cut about as slow as obsidian, but now all forms of ice cut very fast. In fact, regular ice breaks faster than glass now. And you'll want to go ahead and light up your ice path with some sort of lights. We used sea lanterns because we have an abundance of them. And you'll also want this ice road to be at least 55 blocks off the seabed so that you don't spawn drowns on the way to the farm. Now, to operate this farm solo, you're going to first need to be sure that you were in the world when the tridents were placed in the Trident Killer, or be the person to actually place the tridents. To replace the tridents, you're going to want to make sure that you don't mess with the blocks down underneath your feet and just pull out the half slabs like I did right there. The half slabs are easier to replace, and you won't be messing with any of the internal workings of your sorter or your hoppers or anything like that. And as you can see, we're going to go ahead and place 12 tridents in this killer instead of just 9 like my last guide suggested. The more tridents you can actually fit in there, the faster it's going to kill the guardians, or whatever mobs you're actually using the tridents for. And like you can see here, you'll want to be fairly precise and place all your tridents about the same distance in on the piece of carpet. And then flip the switch and get them turned around. Once the tridents are set, you can go ahead and turn that part off. And now that that's all set up, we're going to go ahead and head to the overworld side and sit on the observation platform and start spawning the guardians. One thing that I forgot to mention in my last guide was that once you're done building this whole structure, you're going to want to go ahead and put your game into peaceful mode so that you can despawn all the guardians on the overworld side. There could be some of them swimming around in the ocean, or they might be stuck in the monument itself, or maybe in a cave deep under the monument. Either way, this would drastically slow down the rates of your farm, so be sure to do a peaceful run just for like a minute, and then you probably will want to go to the nether side and do the same thing just to make sure no guardians accidentally went through some of the portals or anything like that, because if you didn't have the drop chute set up on the other side, they would just be bouncing around in there, and if they don't die, then they will also affect the rates as well. Now we're going to go ahead and do a test run and see just how fast we can get from 0 to 30 levels. I believe I'm only going to have to be out here for about 45 seconds, as that's about all it takes to do when you've got 2 players working this farm. So to get from 0 to 30 levels, I'm just going to sit here for 45 seconds and then head straight back to the nether and prepare to kill him on that side. You'll want to be sure that you never spend more than 2 minutes out here on the overworld side, otherwise you will spawn too many guardians into the nether, and then when you go into the nether side, if you're doing this solo anyway, the game will probably crash, or it might just run so slow that you won't be able to turn on the system. If that happens, you'll want to just switch it to peaceful again so you can despawn all the mobs and start over. Another thing people are doing is actually signing in a secondary account on the Pocket Edition, and then you can take that other account and actually put them on the overworld side and spawn your guardians with your Pocket Edition account. That account also does not have to have an active Xbox Live Gold account to play in your world or play via Pocket Edition. So that's a good way to farm XP if you're all alone, technically. And as you can see, that was 1 minute and 36 seconds to get from 0 to 30 levels, which, like I said, is not too bad for solo. If you were doing this with another player, it would probably be under 45 seconds, like my previous guide had shown. Now, in the original guide, we had a different Trident Killer, which was basically this Trident Killer, and it used hoppers that were directly under the Tridents, pointing straight down into a chest system that was connected to a sorter system in our world, which really isn't the best way to do your Trident Killer, because after a couple of minutes of guardians falling down into this system, they will actually force the tridents down into the hoppers so far that the tridents themselves will no longer kill the guardians, and the system will basically stop working. And if you're still spawning guardians on the other side, it will crash the world. So this is the new Trident Killer system, and we have solid blocks directly under the tridents, and then under those solid blocks is going to be minecart hoppers. So you're going to have hoppers inside of minecarts sitting on top of other hoppers that are going to be facing into some double chests. If all you want is storage for your items, then that's all you pretty much need to do, but honestly, you'll fill up those storage chests so fast that you're probably going to need more than that. This is what it looks like on the backside with those hopper minecarts facing into the double chests. And off to the side here, you can see it's just the hopper pointing straight into the chest and then going into the hopper chain to take them over to our sorter. And this is the backside of the front, like this. This is what it looks like from the front, and this is what it looks like underneath that same setup there. And in our world, we've actually got all these hoppers running, like I said, to a hell of a sorter system. Probably will do a video in the future showing how to throw a little sorter system on the end of this, maybe with the Trident Killer setup the way it is. Another thing that I'm seeing in my comments section is people are having a lot of trouble finding north. So here, as an example of one of the reference points for direction, I'm showing that sunflowers will always face east no matter how you place them. If you're facing north, south, east, or west and you place a sunflower, it will always face east. Compasses will not show you north. Here I'm standing near my spawn block in my world, and as you can see, the compass just simply points to the spawn block, which can be kind of confusing and may be the reason why people are having a hard time finding north, because you would think a compass would just point north. And as you can see, I've got my locator map in hand. My little icon is facing to the right of that map, and I'm looking at the sun as it rises, so that's the east. And then I'm over here looking at the sun as it sets, and you can see by looking at my little player icon that I'm looking left now on the map, which means that that is west. And like in real life, the sun does rise in the east and set in the west. Which means if you want to find north, you're going to have to just look until your player icon is pointing up on the map, which up is always going to be north. And that's pretty much it for this little helpful tips and hints video on how to run your Guardian farm. I hope you guys did find it helpful and informative. And I hope this clears up some questions as to how to actually operate the Guardian farm in solo, and how to figure out what your northwest corner is, and hopefully if anybody's having trouble with their Trident Killer like we were, they'll be able to use this new setup to be able to run it indefinitely. Also, this farm is a good source of food as it produces a lot of fish, so you will probably not need any other source of food if you run the farm long enough. And that's pretty much it. Like always, I want to thank you guys for watching my video, and have a good day.